said here. And I mean, with a Gav hard point, it's definitely, again, going to come down to this P1 control right off rip.
And this P1 is definitely somewhat of a bloodbath here off the break. We got 3 players from each team kicking it off at this P1 area. Going to be a fight for that time. V-Beg and Berg, it's all purple in the kill feed. Frenzy, the last one alive on that flank, looking to shake things up. He is able to pick up Berg, does get a second as well. Looking for some more behind it. Almost gets the third, but Duck takes him down. Duck with a 2-piece, actually, to really slow down that push, but for now, New York is in the time, and Toronto Falters need to find a way back in, because 30 seconds is not some time you want to give up.
Yeah, and I mean, what I will say is it's kind of ironic that Duck and Berg are on the same team after Duck Hodges and the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything. I feel like it's a little bit ironic unless they're a duo, but I'm not 100% sure on that, as we're kind of focusing here towards this P2 rotation, and it's looking like Toronto willing to give up those seconds on the P1 time just to solidify their P2 hold. But I mean, Booing looking to pick up the kill he does on Berg, and all of a sudden, New York right onto the point, and I mean, Toronto's kind of faltering right now, no pun intended.
Yeah, they absolutely are. New York finding a lot of time here on the board. Berg, though, or New York finding a lot of time on the board. Toronto trying to fight their way back in. Crunchy gets 2. 1 with the pistol, and they find themselves back in this time. V-Beg picks up 1, but the push still remains from New York SubPar, and those spawns, if they're not careful, might be flipping soon.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see Dan is kind of working towards the back, is going to get found. Frenzy able to pick up 1 on the rotation. He's just going to kind of sit this P3, is going to be found by V-Beg. I mean, Toronto's looking good on this P3 hold. Didn't get a lot of time on P2, but with the setup that they have here onto the P3, I mean, these 23 seconds that they need to tie this game are looking a little bit better. But as I say that, New York able to get 2 onto the point, but both are going to go down. Toronto's going to get the time, but I believe the spawns have flipped.
Spawns have flipped, so Toronto are going to have to hold this hill from the bad side. Crunchy looking to make his way to that time, but he gets chowed by Berg, but he gets the kill on him with the rat. Booing, trying to chow him out, and he does do that. So New York SubPar retain a solid hold on the defensive side of this P3. With 27 seconds left, if you're New York, you might be thinking about flipping this to the P4.
Yeah, as a Toronto player here, you know, 20 seconds this early in the game isn't horrible. You're still going to be within that 60-point mark. Full 60 gets you back back into this game. So rotating towards this P4 point isn't worst case scenario, which is looking like what they want to do. Frenzy is able to pick up 1, but isn't able to really take control of the cliff side, and Toronto looking in full control of this P4 rotation, and the points are just kind of collecting up here for them.
Yeah, but the push is coming in from both sides. 2 from Cliff, 2 from the beach side. Zenny wasn't ready for that one. Crunchy finds himself on a 6. 1 off of that glide bomb. And Berg is all but toast here. But Booing gets the team kill onto Dan, so that kind of opens up the hold for just a moment. Berg picks up another one on his own. And that team nade might have costed them just a few seconds there. But Booing finds his way back in. And Toronto retained that lead.
Those spawns there were quite mixy there for a second. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Gav. They were both spawning. One was spawning beachside, one was spawning cliffside, but they were both close to the point. Toronto able to pick up those kills, and Crunchy looking towards this P5 rotate is going to get found out. But Frenzy there, able to hold it back for the New York team. And I mean, it's going to be your typical P5 push. Zenny is able to find one there. And, I mean, definitely curious to see how this P5 hold looks for New York as they do get the first 10 seconds here of the point.
Yeah, if you're Toronto, you would have loved to have been able to rotate to that new time, but instead New York finds the time, but 2 kills do come in for them, so the collapse should be all but now if you are Toronto, but the kills keep coming in for New York. V-Beg with a big 2-piece, though, to open things up. Frenzy still looking for the kills on time, but is unable to do so. Lobs the stun out there. Bird right in front of him. He does get 1. Looking for the second, but Duck slides out on him for the 2-piece. And this could be a big turnaround for the Toronto Falters because they could find the lead here going into the second set of rotations.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't worst case scenario. I mean, this has been a pretty evenly matched hardpoint. As I say, that Duck with a huge two-piece, and Berg able to pick up that third kill. So, I mean, New York is going to be spawning over on that P5 side. Toronto within 4 points as it is closing in on the tie. They don't get to the tie point. What a nade out of Booing and the second. And, I mean, Crunchy just holding that midpoint. And it looks like they're all going to be spawning over that P4 side. And, I mean, if you're New York, this is best case scenario for you right now. It's looking really good on your part.
Yeah, the big 4 down out of the New York SubPar to be able to kind of shut down that hold out of Toronto Falters. And instead, really flip the script there. So instead of, losing a lot of time there, they're able to get a lot of time. Booing, finding himself on a 5 streak, but gets taken down by Duck. Duck does get traded out, but that glide bomb would have been nice to have if you were Booing. Instead, the rotation going to P4 now out of the Toronto Falters. They're all stacked up here. They just need to take down Booing, which they do.
Yeah, and I mean, New York playing a very good roto towards P2. Dan able to pick up a big two-piece, but does get traded out by Berg. Berg sitting here on the P2 point, looking over at the mid. Booing could be the main factor here. He definitely doesn't want to see his teammates go down here to where they lose spawns. He does get picked. Dan able to pick up another huge two-piece, is able to pick up some time here for New York. Rotates out. He is on a 3 streak. Definitely something to watch because streaks here on Gav are very important because if one person gets a glide bomb here, I mean, every point is very exposed to those score streaks. So, I mean, as I say that, Boeing does get taken out, so streaks do reset. Zenny on a 3-piece of his own, sitting at 21 and 15, and I mean, it's a pretty even matchup thus far. I mean, no team really having full control over the other at this point.
Yeah, Toronto Falters do have an opportunity to flip these spawns if Berg does make the right plays here. They don't seem to know that he has slipped through and finds himself right behind 2 of them. He puts some shots in, but is unable to get the kills, but the pinch is coming in completely. Dan, the last one alive on this time. The spawns have flipped, and this is a huge turnaround for Toronto Falters. They can turn this into a hill they did not rotate to, and instead Berg catching them off guard and getting some time of his own. Booing, looking for one, unable to get that kill. Crunchy, though, here for the trade, looking for a second. He's been playing fantastic so far in this game. Berg just playing defensive, and Toronto Falters are doing a great job of holding down this P3 right now.
Yeah, Berg playing a lot like Starbrand, and has kind of been splitting that route man getting paid. He's breaking about even in the stock market here. But good enough to where his team is actually going to take the lead here. They aren't going to have these P4 rotations, but, I mean, we definitely know how mixy P4 can get. So, if you're Toronto, this isn't worst case scenario for you not winning these rotations. As I say that, Berg does pick up a big 2-piece, and, I mean, Toronto is looking good going into this P4 here.
And look at those spawns. Player 4 and 2 spawned behind the Toronto Falters. They weren't aware that they would do so. Instead, now Frenzy in the back of the map. Zenny with a big kill onto them, though. But that makes the rest of the Toronto Falters spawn out way far on the map. V-Bag trying to play his life. That's Duck on the time, trying to do what he can. He does pick up one onto Booing, but if I'm Duck, I need to play my life for as long as I possibly can. Looking to play defensive here. Almost gets the second, but the rest of the New York SubPar pick up kills almost all across the board, but they get the back spawn. This could lead to some solid scrap time and a solid lead here, but they need to get the kill soon, or else the rotation could get out of hand for the Toronto Falters, but it looks like New York still wants this time.
Yeah, and like you just said, I mean, you just saw Toronto all start spawning back in the P4 area, and New York are going to have these P5 spawns. Duck's going to play a key factor here, as 2 are going to go down for New York, and I mean, Duck just kind of playing in the back. New York's still going to be spawning back there, so not worst case scenario, but you have to find out Duck before he gets another 2-piece. He does pick up one. Berg picks up another. Berg picks up another one. New York still spawning back there. Nobody really able to get this time on P5. Everybody's getting traded out. This is just becoming crazy.
Yeah, Toronto Falters doing a great job of keeping the aggression to a maximum on this P5, and Zenny picks up a big 2 to keep that hill uncontested for the time being. He even's able to hop on it, and with 25 seconds left, this is an absolute W of a P5 for Toronto Falters. You just need to cement this rotation in as you guys come up off spawn.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm curious to know the decision on this where, I mean, I guess they are playing for these P3 spawns, even though New York is still spawning back there. Why we're not rotating towards the P1 point to just try and anchor down those spawns and just kind of try and play this time here, because, I mean, you are in the lead by a hefty amount, you know, about a 30-point deficit. And, I mean, right now, New York's kind of just, like, taking control. And, I mean, Duck makes a big play, wasn't able to pick up the second kill. And it's all New York in the kill feed right now, as we are going to see a battle out here on the steps, won by Boeing. And, I mean, this is just getting a little bit crazy here.
2 players left on the time. Duck looking to make the play. Dan gets taken down by V-Bag, but Frenzy stays alive in the time, but the rest of the Toronto Falters have an opening to push in here. It's going to be a 3-on-3 hit right now. Berg with a big 2-piece to open up the time. Dan trying to flun his way in as the last alive, but there's 2 players here to chow him, and they take him down. Toronto Falters can't win here, so you have to focus the rest of the team to the rotation, but New York SubPar is already there.
Yeah, and they sent 3 Cliff, which is huge. They win the battle for top bow, which could prove vital to the Toronto Falters. And I mean, New York, it's all New York in this P2 hold, and it's going to come down to Berg. Berg does get 1. He does get shots in the second. Second goes up the top stairs. Nobody's on time right now. And Dan, he is able to pick up 1, but Duck does get the trade. Toronto only needs 1 more tick, and they get it. That is one heck of a start to this series, and I am looking forward to this Berlin S&D.
An amazing turnaround for Toronto Falters, just doing a fantastic job of keeping themselves out in front of that lead change, even while. No doubt about it, Squiddy, but here we are, map 2, Berlin Search and Destroy.
Yeah, I said it in the first round. I apologize for my dog in the background. I think he's just that excited for this map, and as I say that, I mean, Toronto, a little bit of a miscommunication, not really anybody grabbing the bomb. North Sea, excuse me, North seeing the cross towards A, but I don't know how much of a factor it's going to play. And as I say, Frenzy is able to pick up the kill. Yeah, I got it. Yep. So I mean, you know, we're looking at Toronto here. They are able to get the first 2. There is 1 down in Berg, and we are in a 2v1 situation. If you're Dan, not worst case scenario, you are on the defensive side, is going to elect to retreat, does get found by Toronto. Toronto is able to take that first round of this Berlin S&D.
Yeah, big round 1 for the Toronto Falters. They find their way to win that round, and they go up 1-0 in the Search and Destroy. Great start for them.
Yeah, and if you're Toronto, not worst case scenario, you know, especially in that 2v1 position, or I'm sorry, New York, definitely almost played that very well. Did just kind of get picked by that guy in the mid area, and New York not even electing to see that mid cross, just send 4 towards the A side, just kind of taking their chances, and it's not going to work because Reckless is just going to find a 2-piece. That one guy who was sitting secret does push out, is going to get found, traded out by Reckless. Reckless looking for the ace, does not get it, traded out by Dan, as we do turn towards Berg and Duck. And Berg is going to get turned on. We are in a 1v1 situation, Duck versus Dan, and I mean, this is huge for Toronto, and they do pick up the kill from Duck. Huge pick from Duck to take the 2-0 lead in this map.
Yeah, Reckless goes absolutely huge in that round, picking up 3 to secure the round win for Toronto Falters. Big start for them. They're looking fantastic in the Search and Destroy.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's just able to play those trades, even in the 4v2 situation, able to win that series out. And, I mean, we're looking at Duck right now, just kind of going crazy on the zoom-in, or the aim-in mechanic. They are going to be pushing P2, or at least Duck will be. It's looking like another B hit from Toronto. or it did work out for them in the first round. Reckless does get picked first after having the two picks at the beginning of the last round, and curious to see how this plays out for Toronto, especially with this guy Dockside.
Crunchy picks up one onto the bomb, making it a 2v4 situation, but Duck almost evens it up here. V-Bag trying to push out this player, but he's got a player watching over him, leaving Duck in the 1v3 on a 4 streak as well. May want to play this for the glide bomb, but it's going to be hard to pick up 3 when you're the last one alive.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Duck here, you're on a 5, just kind of trying to play your life. You know the bomb's over towards the B area, especially after you kill that player on the B bomb. And it's a little bit unfortunate for the Toronto side, not able to pick up this. I mean, I'm speaking a little too quickly. I was going to say before that they weren't able to pick up this round win off of that. But, I mean, Duck at a 5-0 right now. I mean, you can't count this Toronto team out right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely facts. He knows he's on a 5 streak, and he just wants to play the glide bomb. Honestly, good play out of him. You know you're up 2-0 in the map. Might as well play these streaks, especially with a glide bomb, which can shut down a B point so quick. He says stop, and the round ends. Good call out of Duck to stay alive there, and the New York SubPar get a round on the board, but Duck still alive with some potential streaks in his back pocket if you can pick up 2 more.
Yeah, and, you know, not worst case scenario for Toronto because you still have your guy Duck here on this 5 streak. If you're New York, you're not happy with that outcome because you don't end those streaks, but you're not disappointed because you do get that round win. And we'll see what they do right off rip. And it looks like they're kind of going for a mid push. They have 2 going towards the P5, P2 area. May try and take that top third control. And Berg is going to get the first blood. Duck not able to spot booing yet. But it does seem like a heavy B hit here from New York. They do get another guy down, make that 3, leaving Frenzy in a 4v1. And honestly, if I'm Toronto, I'm leaving this kill to Duck.
Yeah, just try to find him, but Reckless picks him up before he can do so. Berg picking up 3 on the round, if I am so correct, and I think I am, to find that 3rd round on the board. And, you know, you might have wanted Duck to get that final kill, but as long as he has the streak alive, it's a W for sure. Not only the round win, but the morale win as well, as Duck stays alive.
Yeah, and, you know, if you're New York, you're not in the worst case scenario. You know that you can take a round off of these guys, especially on the defensive side. And I mean, it's looking like a pretty heavy A hit from the Toronto, but they're only sending 3. They're sending 1 guy over towards B as almost like a distraction. Never mind, it's Duck. He's going up top 3rd. He's just going to try and start playing for these picks, try and get these streaks, basically solidify this. And as soon as I say that, Reckless with a huge 2-piece there, making this a 4v2, which is almost seemingly impossible for New York, but I don't want to say that because Reckless does get traded out. New York gets the ball, or I'm sorry, Toronto gets the bomb down, and now we're going to have a retake here from New York.
3v2 situation, somewhat more manageable, but Duck sees 2 in front of him, is able to get 1, puts shots into that other player as well, so Crunchy has to back down. With 30 seconds left, Crunchy doesn't have many options left. With 23 seconds left, he's going to have to kill both of these players near the bomb, and Duck is close behind him. With the shots going in on Platt, it looks like they're feeding him the kill, and they get it to him. Duck, sitting at 7-0, finds the glide bomb that he's been waiting for this whole game.
Yeah, and, you know, if you're Crunchy, obviously it's not the position that you want to be in. A little surprised that he didn't try and push A little bit faster, especially after the regen, just because you know where that player was top 3rd, knowing that he has to either go P5 down the long haul or P5 down the P2 and take that long rotate. Try and play those 2 guys that you probably know are in the A-bomb. Definitely curious to see how New York play this offense as they elect to, looks like, go B yet again. Curious to see how Toronto's defense holds up here.
Curious as well am I. 4v4 situation, New York. I would say they shouldn't go toward that B bomb site, and it looks like they have that idea as well. Duck playing oh so aggressive over here, and you might want to keep him alive in case you need that glide bomb, but now Berg is the highlighted player here. He does get 1. Is he looking for a second? But Dan takes him down. 3v3 situation. but the rest of the Toronto Falters not ready for the trades at A.
Yeah, I mean, Dan looks like me in ranked play. I mean, secret is literally my worst nightmare. I always end up getting picked when I don't check it, so I always rush to go and check it. Frenzy able to pick up that bomb as it did go down, is able to plant it on to A, and now Toronto looking for this 3v2 retake, which isn't worst case scenario for them, but little did they know that Dan is here on the flank. Frenzy able to pick a big one inside the A bomb. Dan does get found out by V-Bag, and now it's all down to Frenzy. Frenzy just having to play his life for another about 11 seconds here. Is he able to do it as there is both elect to go up V stairs? Is he able to at least get one, play his life long enough? He is not. Toronto is going to get this defuse. Going to go up 5-1 in the search and destroy. And I mean, Toronto is just looking absolutely unstoppable in the search and destroy, especially Duck.
I would have to agree with you there, Squiddy. Up 5-1, still with a glide bomb in their back pocket, and Duck is sitting at 9-0 right now. This man is doing it all.
Yeah, I mean, with the glide bomb, you're going to do an offense. This is just about as secure as you can be if you're a Toronto player or fan. I mean, this offense should almost be a gimme. And if I am Toronto, I'm assuming that they're probably going to hit this B, especially with that glide bomb, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They see at least one cross. They don't know that Frenzy is there on that cross. They might have seen him cross. I'm not 100% sure. But it looks like that isolated player is going to be number 8, which is Crunchy for New York. They do have one guy sitting back all the way deep in their spawn if you're Toronto, which could play vital. Crunchy does pick up that first blood, though. I mean, this isn't looking horrible if you're New York, but not looking comfortable if you're Toronto.
Yeah, and you have Duck staying alive at that train, looking to make the full flank through there, looking for any exiters, but there is none to be found. The glide bomb still in hand. He might opt to use it right now if I were him, but Reckless picks up one onto Dan. Berg just sliding back and forth, making his awareness at the peak potential. Berg picks up one, last one alive on the bomb is going to be Booing. Duck trying to come behind him and apply some supportive shots, but Booing with 15 seconds left, there's not much he can do. He does get chowed, and the Toronto Falters close out that search and destroy 6-1.
Yeah, Berg just disregarded every little bit of my motion sickness there and was just absolutely cracked out of his mind, looking like Shotzi, just going from side to side in that B-bomb area. Is able to necessarily go for that entire capture. They mainly go for 1 or 2 ticks just because they know how hard it is to capture that B point. And as I say that, New York's just like, you know what, let's just full send it. I mean, they're going full barstool. They're going full optic here. Straight to the B point. They're just going to be playing for these trades. And Berg, what trigger discipline? Able to call out 2 players, picks up the third that's trailing behind. He is going to get called out. Frenzy is able to pick up a big 2-piece. Another player coming down alley. Frenzy is able to pick him up. Frenzy going to need a 4-piece. Isn't able to find it. Reckless does get him, but 2 more players from New York able to get on this B point. This is just getting crazy, out of hand on this B point. Another big kill by Booing. Booing does get found. Another trade here at alley from Crunchy. And I mean, this is just chaos over at the B. And if you're New York, you're not upset going with 1 tick there.
No, absolutely not, especially when the pressure from the A site opens up completely. As that B point, you know, it just required so much attention from the Toronto Falters. So, you know, an absolute W out of a B push from New York SubPar. And if they find this B point, the Toronto Falters are going to be playing from the back seat for the time being.
Yeah, and as we see, that heady just being used top fire to overlook the A site by Berg. And I believe that was 3 down that went for Toronto. The only one that was left up was Reckless up in the top church area. New York is able to get onto this B point. Player from L does push in, able to pick up that kill. And now Toronto a little bit more in control, as I think we have a 3 or 4 down for New York. Everybody's just kind of resetting here. And Berg able to pick up a huge kill. Does get traded out, but that's not worst case scenario if you're Toronto or Berg, especially in a position like that where you don't know if a player is going to be there. Reckless picks up 1. Able to pick up a 2nd. Is he able to pick up the 3rd? He is not. Dan does pick up that trade. New York starting to work their way up the map. And I mean, not worst case case scenario if you're either team right here.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, New York SubPar has some sort of aggression on that point. Dan still alive in top radio, and you have Booing at the back of the map just playing with that automaton. They can find a pinch here onto the point. All of Toronto working toward that top radio side of the map, and Booing's here to help out that player one, Dan, on the time. And with those 3 down, they might opt to stack the point. Word to Jims. There's only 1 player on the site right now, though. They get that slow progression. And if they had a stack that, they might be able to get this, and they looks like they might be able to do so. 1 player left, that's Duck, looking to find his way in. He is able to get 1, doesn't get 2, but the B point goes in the favor of New York SubPar, and they find the offensive round win, the oh-so-elusive round 1 offense Tuscan win.
Jake, everything that I have said before this map about how, you're favored on defense, throw that out the window, because the way New York just played there, offense matters too. And I mean, New York played that perfectly from the offensive side. Now I'm curious to see what they're able to do here on the defensive side.
Yes, I mean, Toronto now need to work harder than ever, because not only did they win the round 1 offense from New York SubPar, but they also got all the ticks on the board. So Toronto's going to have to match that at least, if not win the round, in order to have a W of an offensive round. But off the break, Toronto have some semblance of control here. Reckless staying alive in this U area. Crunchy, though, with the slide, gets the 2nd kill. Only 1 HP left, Squiddy. That was a close one. Booing, picking up 2, and Toronto Falters just really have no control over this map right now.
Yeah, I mean, Booing with the streaks, I didn't even notice that he had streaks, is able to get all of these callouts, isn't able to pick up a kill, but what amount of information does New York have to work with that glide bomb? And as we are starting to rotate towards the A position, Toronto really not having anything over at the B side. Reckless able to pick up 1, and now all of a sudden New York's just all over the kill feed, and Reckless by himself is able to pick up 1, and is able to switch out his secondary for an MP40. Crunchy does spot him. Now it's just going to kind of play ring around the rosy. Is able to pick up that kill. And Toronto just not really able to find anything in the mid position. And New York just all over this control right now. Crunchy is just feasting right now, almost as though it is Thanksgiving.
I mean, let's point out Booing real quick. Mans is on an 11 streak, sitting at 17-3. Just getting all the kills on the map right now, working for a flank behind the Toronto Falters, and I don't think they have any sort of idea that he's here right now. Looking for the kills on the site. He sees Berg in front of his sights, gets a 2nd as well. I mean, what an amazing performance out of Booing on a 13 streak, sitting at 19-3 right now. This man's on another level.
Listen, all I'm going to say is his play right now is the equivalent of Mila Kunis. Just absolutely just beautiful. Just picture perfect. I couldn't list anything that is better looking than his gameplay right now. I mean, Crunchy is playing his role. So are the rest of his teammates. Frenzy, we got to give a shout out. He's 15-9, but I mean, whenever you got a guy going 20-3 right now, I mean, he's on a 15 kill streak. Like, what else can you say about a 15 kill streak? We're talking probably more girls than I've talked to in my lifetime that he has killed before he has died.
Booing on a 15 streak, looking for the 16th. Works for the movement, but gets taken down, and that's how it's going to end. Thought maybe he might be able to call in the V2 rocket, but instead he gets taken down. The round ends for the New York SubPar, and they find themselves up 2-0 in this Tuscan control.
Yeah, I mean, you would think after the search and destroy that, Toronto would have come out with a little bit more firepower, but I mean, New York just, I'm sorry. I mean, Quinn's just having himself a night right now. He must have ate much Cheerios this morning. I mean, he's got every single muscle just firing on all cylinders. I'm almost speechless at the guy's performance right now.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely gross things on the map right now. He ate his Wheaties, he ate his Cheerios. He might have had every type of cereal for breakfast this morning. as he finds himself 22 and 4. Almost gets a second one, but Reckless is able to take him down. Let's not forget that the Toronto Falters are on the defensive end here, and they're having a great start. No progression on A or B, but the B push is definitely coming in for them, and that's going to be a 3-stack on the point now with all these New York players around the B point.
Yeah, nobody is booing right now because as soon as he goes down, all of a sudden he's right back on the B point. And yes, he does get traded out at L, but they do get the that tick over at B. Everybody does get traded out, but as you can see, it took 4 Toronto players going over to the B point, leaving A wide open for New York to take over. They are going to watch that mid-entry towards L. Frenzy does get found. Booing. Oh, he does get picked by Reckless, but everybody does get traded out. V-Bag does able to get that grenade and get the headshot on the Crunchy. So A isn't fully captured yet. Frenzy going on a frenzy. Able to pick up 2, does get traded out. Bottom Church. It's just absolute chaos right now with just everybody's all over the map right now.
Booing might be send 10s on a ringer with the way he's snapping right now. I need to see this guy's aim lab score because he is absolutely going. He's a menace on the map, undoubtedly. But Toronto Falters still have work to do in this control round. Up 2 lives, make it 3, but New York SubPar got a tick onto B. This might be a tough one to come back from if you're Toronto.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not in disaster mode yet. If you're Toronto, you do have that 3 life hold. You only have 1 tick down on B. You're not in worst case scenario just yet. And I mean, don't take me seriously here, but I am getting notifications here that Booing's girlfriend is watching, and he had to turn up for her. Don't quote me on that, but this is just from sources that don't exist.
Sources, trust me, bro, but New York SubPar still have some work to do in this round, but they find themselves down lives, down 5, 4 lives to go for them to lock in this round. And not much you can do with only 4 lives to go. 35 seconds left, so you have 1 good push for sure. You can take your time, you can do whatever it takes to close this one out. Booing, looking for the first one, but Reckless is able to take him down. Frenzy, though, with a big opener on his side. V-Bag just trying to pepper in shots to slow down the push. He's staying alive on this plat side area. He sees Frenzy in front of him, but he takes down Dan instead. Frenzy, the last one alive, and when you're the last one alive in control in a 1v8, there's really not much you can do.
Yeah, and as much as we've been talking about Booing, we have to give a shout out to Frenzy because Frenzy is out killing Booing, but with how little Booing has died this round, or I'm sorry, in this map, you know, it's almost making Frenzy's numbers look kind of, you know, small. I mean, this man is just playing like Dashy, just able to pick up every single kill that they need. And, I mean, Toronto kind of playing it safe here, just taking the A route. And Duck is going to be seen mid, but they do have 3 players on that A point. It's looking, in my opinion, that it's going to be a quick A capture here for Toronto as they're starting to work towards the back. I guess kind of planning for that A or that B hit. And Berg able to pick up a big kill here in the mid. 3 go down for New York. And, I mean, as confident as New York was looking, all of a sudden Toronto, with just a nice little spark of energy. And as I say that, Frenzy picks up a big kill. And it looks like V-Bag coming in through the back, picks up a big 2-piece. And as soon as New York looked to have a little bit of momentum, Toronto just coming back with a big heat.
Yeah, if they could find this offensive win, it would send it to a round 5. Pretty sure New York would still be able to get that, you know, round 5 defense. But, you know, an offensive win would feel good. But 2 kills on the board for New York SubPar. Reckless does find one of his own. Booing, just doing what he can in the backside of the map. I mean, this guy's sense is on like 18 trillion. I do not even know how this guy plays like this.
Yeah, I mean, man's looking like royalty in challengers right now. This man is just like, I don't even know. I feel like I'm on a boat right now because I get seasick, and I'm starting to get seasick right now. And Toronto about to send 3 players. They do get 2 onto the point, and as soon as I say that, Dan and Frenzy go on a frenzy and are able to pick up All three players on that point. Frenzy's sitting at 32 and 22. I understand he's not sitting at a 2.0 KD, but this man is just absolutely frying right now. Call it McDonald's, call it Burger King, call it Wendy's, whatever your favorite fry establishment is. This guy is just absolutely cooking up the kills.
Cooking with biscuits, Frenzy is, as he's sitting at 32 and 22. The Frenzy and Booing duo may be unstoppable on Tuscan control, but Berg is just taking his time, but he wasn't patient enough as Dan is able to take him down. Crunchy, the flanks are in, looking for more. He picks up 3, looking for a 4. Berg wasn't ready to chow it, and Crunchy makes the smart play and backs on up.
Listen, all I'm going to say is with how great this match has been, I just hope this goes to a map 5 because I mean, even the S&D rounds, while it did finish 6-1, it really did come down to a 2v1 situation, 1v1 situation that just kind of went in favor of Toronto. This is just great Call of Duty that we're watching here, as we do have Dan's POV here, mainly being that utility player. Booing finally deciding to use that those streaks there. We do have a 6 life advantage with 5 seconds left. It's not looking promising for Toronto. In fact, it does not look like they are able to capture that B point, giving New York that 3-1 map victory, sending us over to a map 4, which will also be on Tuscan. And I'll tell you what, with how good New York looked on Tuscan.
Completely agree with you here. It looks like New York SubPar will be starting on that good side as well, so they're going to be looking to retain those spawns going into P2, but Toronto Falters, I'm sure, trying to hold as much time as they possibly can here on the P1.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a big push here from the pillar position. Able to trade out Crunchy there, but Frenzy is going to live in that position. Booing able to be taken down on the top church position. And they kind of have a little bit more mid-map control if you're Toronto. But as I say that, Frenzy able to take out the guy on the block side. Or, I'm sorry, the block side. And it's just kind of chaos over here in this mid position as well as this P1 position. And it's looking like it's going in the favor of Toronto. And, I mean, it's the man from the Berg. I mean, I don't actually know if he's from the Berg. But the man Berg is just going off right now.
Yeah, some solid time on this P1, getting a little bit over 30 seconds here, and Duck is already well on his way to the P2. He does get taken down, but V-Bag playing quite aggressive as well. Does pick up 2, and he gets those spawns as well, which is huge for Toronto. They have found a way to maybe get back into this. The kills keep going in their favor, and now, I mean, they're getting all the kills. Could this be another 4 down for them? Yes, it is, but they get the back alley spawns yet again. The spawns flip twice in a row, and I don't know if Toronto will be ready for this.
Yeah, all I can really say, and I have to put this into like being from the Pittsburgh area and watching the Pittsburgh Penguins all the time. They were chanting Igor, Igor. I'm going to start chanting squad spawns, squad spawns. Like this game with the spawns is just, it just makes the game so much more interesting, so much more fun to watch. And I mean, all of this stuff is just being just absolute chaos. Toronto fighting for these back spawns. Reckless able to pick up a big 2-piece. They are going to start spawning in the back. Dan electing to play his life here in the mid, waiting for his teammates to kind of start pushing this P3 position. Toronto in basically full control, but I mean, this is just absolute chaos in the first 2 minutes of this hardpoint map.
Yeah, New York needs a way to break, but they haven't found it just yet. Booing, still chowing, but somebody snuck through the rooftop side of the map. That's going to be Crunchy. He's found his way into back well, and now the push should be easy to come in from the New York SubPar, and it does. That's a clean 4 down, but Duck's coming behind 3 of them. He almost gets 2, but Frenzy takes him down. Reckless still pushing from this top side. He almost gets a second with the pistol, but Frenzy picks it up instead. It's a constant barrage of players at the hill. Trades going back and forth, and the scrap time still hasn't been cemented, but with that, it looks like the New York SubPar should get it.
Yeah, I mean, V-Bag sitting at 10-5 right now. Frenzy able to pick up that kill on Duck. Does get traded out by Berg. And, I mean, there's just an absolute chaos of a hard point thus far. Berg just kind of running around I think it was Crunchy who was in the point. I don't. Oh, Crunchy does get picked out, so P4 is going to go towards in favor of Toronto thus far. Frenzy picks up a big two-piece up top Church, and a bottom Church win out of Dan. Dan does get traded out. Frenzy able to pick up the trade, and New York is able to kind of take control of this P4 point thus far. Toronto with a little bit of split spawns going towards the P2 area and the back church area. One is going to get found. I don't think the other one's able to be found yet, but everybody's starting to get traded out. And I mean, this is just a neck and neck race between the two teams on this P4 point, and I'm curious to see what this rotation to P5 looks like.
New York SubPar able to get a huge chunk of time off of that P4, and now the focus is absolutely toward P5. Berg sliding his way out, taking down one, looking for a second, is able to get booing as well. Frenzy, the last one there. It's going to be 1v1 gunfight between these two players, and Duck takes him down. So, with the new hill popping, that's going to be huge for the Toronto Falters. All of New York SubPar off the spawn, and New York need to find a way to break here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're New York, not worst case scenario, because P5 is one of those just mixy hills, especially even though trophy systems is being added to the game, not being put into the competitive scene. You know, P5 is still much more naded, stun kind of hill. And as I say that, Toronto picks up a big three-piece, Crunchy the last one alive, but he's really nowhere near. Boeing able to get that mid spawn, does get taken down in the bottom of the P5 hold. I think it was Crunchy was able to pick one, gets traded out. Dan able to contest that spot, does get the time, is going to get contested, does get the stun. This is just absolute chaos. Exactly what you expect out of Tuscan P5.
Yeah, now every player rotating toward that P1. There is one player there that's going to be Frenzy, looking for the kill onto V-Bag, and he does get it, but the rest of Toronto still around him. Berg picks him up, and that could be a good start to this hill for Toronto Falters. Duck pushed out. He picks up two of his own. The last player alive is going to be Frenzy at that pillar side of the map, but there's not much he can do with no teammates around. The rest of New York SubPar opting to push through this field side, but Reckless still picking up kills. Almost all of Toronto Falters positive right now. They're absolutely frying on this map.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're New York, you're not in the worst case scenario yet, because you were down probably about 40 points going into second roto, where you were winning everything and just weren't able to kind of connect those last couple of hills together. And as I say that, they're able to take control, get this last couple of scraps. If they can start winning some of these rotations, man, New York really looking good, especially on hills like P2, where Boeing's going to pick up a nice little two-piece, you know, like it's nothing. You know, even though Toronto is spawning back in those spawns, Crunchy is there to pick up a couple trades. Does get traded out, but as I say that, New York does get another two-piece. Duck comes in with a nice little kill on maps, is able to pick up the two-piece. That is a huge kill on his part, but Crunchy is able to trade him out. Reckless, gonna need the big kill, not able to get it. Everybody's shooting at him. One other guy, Platt. Is anybody going to be able to find him from New York? No, not yet. Is able to get traded out in New York. Looking like they're going to get control of P2. Never mind. Reckless is just going to, you know, take control of it. And as I say that, Dan able to pick up another one. Booing able to pick up the second. And I mean, this is just absolute chaos over here at the second point. And it looks like New York are going to have those P3 spawns as of right now.
Yeah, this is a huge hill for New York. They're getting the kills on the board, and they're rotating to New as well. Booing, opting to rotate out, but just playing this time oh so well. Knows there might be players around, but he pushes a little late for my liking, but he should spawn good. But he spawns behind the Toronto Falters. He spawned bottom church, so now they have to read this player behind him, and he takes down Reckless because of it. And I mean, that is somewhat blessed from the game to give Booing a freebie like that.
Squad spawns. Squad spawns. I mean, this game is just absolutely so entertaining to watch. Obviously, if I'm Toronto, I am just absolutely infuriated. But as I say that, they get a three-piece and make that a four-piece if you include their teammate. Everybody's spawning from New York on that roof side, and they are able to pick up two. Make that three. Make that four. All four go down for Toronto, and they are still spawning in the back. Are going to be able to retake this lead. And I mean, this game has just been absolute chaos. And I mean, if you are New York, you are in the best position here. You are going to rack up these last couple of seconds. You have to start focusing that retake over towards P4. And I mean, it's going to be crunchy here on that backside towards back tank. Is he going to be able to spot that player out? Back church. Is he going to be able to find the guy in time? He is not. Nobody's able to trade him out. Berg is going to get killed. V-Bag is going to be the last guy standing towards this side. As I say that, Duck is able to pick up a kill. Outer P1 towards the back spawns. Crunch is going to get traded out in time. This is just absolute chaos here on the P4 with how crazy those rotations were.
Yeah, and New York SubPar still in the lead. They just retained that, and this is a huge chunk of time for them. Booing picks up the last player coming from that field side of the map. Opts to play the solid corner, but with 3 in front of him, he's got to take down a few with his teammate. He tries to make the pinch through the middle, but he opts to rotate to that new hill, and a big play out of New York SubPar as Toronto Falters all find themselves on the back foot at that plat side of the map.
Yeah, and New York in the great position right here where you're up on the P5 hold. So you know you can give up some time here, but you also know that you can hold. You have to have Toronto come to you. So the more time you can hold here, the better. You know, contested time isn't the worst case scenario because if you can win these rotations over towards P1, you are kind of set. P1's a lot easier to hold than the P5 hold. And I mean, Toronto looking pretty even in the kills ratio. New York, I mean, Frenzy and Booing are just absolutely just shredding as of right now. And as I say that, Toronto able to pick up a big 4 off of New York, and New York electing to still try and go for this P5, and Reckless kind of playing this maps area is able to pick up a big 2-piece, and then the rest of the New York roster looking towards that P1 rotation, even though they are going to go down, being able to pick up 1 isn't going to get traded out, but Dan does go down on that P1. Curious to see how New York's able to hold this P1.
There was one right in front of V-Bag. He is able to get the kill, but there's one player left on time. It's Frenzy, and that is a player that can do some damage. He is able to get one. Booing with another trade of his own. Now the push coming in from their side field. This game could go down to the wire.
Frenzy!
Frenzy picks up a big 2-piece on a 4 streak, and he is the crown jewel of the New York SubPar right now as he broke that hill at just the perfect time. Duck and Co need to find a way to break, and he might make the scumpy play and push through the middle side of the map. 1 kill goes in their favor, but they don't have much time remaining. Dan gets taken down. Frenzy, the last one on the time, and he gets taken out. Duck trying to play his life, but Crunchy takes him down. 5 seconds to go, and they need to contest here, but there's nobody left on the time. Booing just needs to hop on the clock. You may want to opt for the rotation now as everybody focus on this P1.
And I mean, as much as I love that glide bomb there, I mean, now they have to win these P2 rotations. Berg's not able to pick up a kill there. Oh, wait, he is able to pick up a kill on Dan. Isn't able to kill Frenzy. New York is going to take that map. And I'll tell you what, man, I can't believe. I'm speechless, man. That was about as crazy of a map as you could get for a Tuscan. Has a sniper out at the moment.
For now, I personally don't see any, but it may be just for the first couple rounds. But this first round, oh so important, as we know, on Desert Siege. Toronto on the offensive end, Booing, able to pick up 1 already with the snap. Looking for more. The bomb almost going down on the B site, and there's nobody really to contest it as of yet.
Yeah, no, that's a great play out of Berg to know that your teammate does get picked. And I mean, a little bit of a curious decision to push towards the New York spawn. And I mean, New York playing this very well as Crunchy is going to roll in through the back. He does spot 1, and we are into a 2v1 situation, but Diffuser does get killed in that situation. And I mean, if V-Bag is able to play his life here long enough, he is not... I mean, if V-Bag plays his life there a little bit more, and I mean, I understand you have to be able to check the bomb with how quickly New York just jumped on that defuse. If he plays his life there and just kind of elects to play a little bit more mid, kills a little bit more time, they very easily could have won that round.
Yeah, they absolutely could. I mean, Toronto had some openings there, but they get first blooded. and that was kind of the nail in the coffin for them in that round. But now on the defensive end, you know, you're a little bit more safe on the defensive side. So let's see what they do here. But New York off to a better start than they were on that last search and destroy.
Yeah, still no snipers, and I mean I know it's a mixed match, and you know you may not see snipers because snipers very much do play a big factor in basically information, um, you know, and just team communication. And in the time that I was talking about that, Toronto now in a 1v4, VBEG in a 1v4 situation is able to pick up one, but he doesn't know that two guys are pushing towards that outer trench is going to be found. And I mean, complete flip of what we saw in the Berlin search and destroy map 2.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They're off to a hot start. And let's not forget, Squiddy, if New York takes this one home, this would mean the reverse sweep. So New York riding off all of that momentum right now. Crunchy on a 3 streak, doing what he can right now. Looks like he wants to play toward this A site. Toronto Falters look like they want to take B.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to have a battle out here at mid. Booing is not the guy you want to see in the mid position. Crunchy looking for that nice little A rotation over towards B is going to get found by VBEG. And I mean, this is not worst case scenario if you're Toronto. And as I say that, they get a second pick over at the B site. Now Dan kind of has to make a decision to kind of play this top B position in the bottom mid position as well. And Toronto is going to get this bomb down unless and Booing is going to get found over at the A site. Left down to Dan, and that's going to be a nice little 4-0 reversal for Toronto, making this a 2-1 map in this Desert Sea Search.
Yeah, a big bounce back for the Toronto Falters to get a round on the board. You never want to go down 3-0. Once you go down 2-0, I mean, any round loss after that is just, you know, another dig deeper, you might say. But here we go. Toronto Falters find their way back into this game. It's just the beginning. Squiddy, New York SubPar on the offensive end. And with Toronto Falters on the defense, you feel like they might be able to tie it up here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're New York, you know, you're not happy with that offense or that defense. But I mean, you know, you already took an offense off of them. So, I mean, you definitely have the confidence going into this, you know, round 5. And as I say that, they do get picked by Reckless. So, I mean, if you're Toronto, you're looking good. Really no site kind of like controlled by New York, which could, you know, turn vital towards them. And as I said, they go towards the B. Frenzy does get found. Berg just kind of playing on this B bomb, is able to find Crunchy, leaves Dan into a 1v4. And I mean, while New York did look good in those first 2 rounds, I mean, Toronto just looking dominant as they're looking for another clean sweep, which they do get. And I mean, if you're Toronto, you're feeling good right now.
I mean, 2 rounds in a row where nobody on the Toronto camp has died. So big rounds out of them to bounce back into the series. Duck doing his thing, not able to replicate the deathless search and destroy he had in game 2, but doing what he can on a 2 streak of his own. Reckless on a 4, doing amazing things with that automaton. And Toronto Falters have a feeling they want to take another offensive round win to their favor.
Yeah, and I mean, Duck just, I guess, trying to make his own song and dance. You know, teach me how to ducky, teach me how to ducky. I mean, just absolutely going crazy. And as I say that, New York comes back with 2. Berg is able to pick up a huge 2-piece with 8 HP left, and it's him and VBEG against Dan and Frenzy. And it looks like they are. Oh well, Berg with the bomb looked to be going B. And VBEG is able to be found out by Frenzy. Frenzy does pick up that kill. I think he gets the information on the Beg. Knows that Beg might be on the bomb. Berg decides not to plant the bomb. Almost kind of fake it. Gets Frenzy. Rotates over towards that A bomb. And player 5, Dan, has no idea that he has until now. And I mean, this is a huge, huge reversal of Berg.
But Berg gets spotted by Dan, and the shots are crisp. They come in, and Dan able to take that round home. Could have been a big 1v2 out of Berg, like you said, but they run the same direction, and Berg gets the bad time and good plays out of Dan to get that defuse off. New York SubPar, a blessing in disguise out of Dan.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, COD timing is just a huge factor when it comes to search and destroy, because it really does just take a split second um, to change the entire game. So, I mean, Dan picking up that kill is huge, gives New York that 3-2 advantage, and now, sniper!
We love the snipers over here at the CoD Rec League. He takes a shot into that player over there that's going to be reckless, but Berg taking some solid map control over there on the B bomb site. May not be ready to check it. Dan still not sure if there's a player over there, but he has moved just a little bit to the left. But now New York SubPar getting the bomb down at A.
Yeah, and that's huge if you're attacking. Just getting the bomb down as an attacker is a huge factor, as we see a kill go down there. And, I mean, not worst case scenario for either team.
Dan gets a sniper pick, and the kills keep coming in for New York SubPar. They might find themselves up 4-1 here if Duck isn't able to clutch this 1v3 with 20 seconds left, and I'm not sure he has the opportunity, and that's a big snipe out of Dan to close out the round. 2 sniper kills. I mean, you gotta think, Squiddy, he should probably keep it out.
Listen, the sniper should have been out from the start. I don't care what anybody says. Snipers in Call of Duty are just immaculate. They are needed. They are necessary. I miss them in Cold War as much as I love Cold War. I'm just glad to see them back. New York taking this big 4-2 lead. Nobody really standing out at this moment. Everybody's just kind of, even at this point. This has just been a very close matchup between these two teams. And I mean, you can't count Toronto out. And as I say that, Duck with a huge two-piece. Duck, listen, this man at S&D is just built different. Picks up a three-piece, looking for the ace on this guy back castle. I think there is information on Dan. If not, Duck did see him back castle. It's just going to start firing some pre-shots. Knows that he probably went back towards the other end of castle, and it's just a matter of time before Dan gets found out.
Dan left in the 1v3 situation. He does get some sights on him, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to clutch this one up, Squiddy, because he's kind of in no man's land here in bottom middle of the map. Looks like he may be wanting to play this streak, but he gets taken down anyway. Toronto Falters with a big bounce back round to make it 3-4.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, even if New York does win this, 5-3 lead in Search and Destroy is the most dangerous lead in all of esports. So if you're Toronto, obviously, especially on the defense, you can tie this up, coming up with some big offensive rounds, just like New York has. Dan elects to keep that sniper out, just trying to play for some information, as Berg is going to rotate up through that bottom B position, able to pick up that kill towards their stairs. Dan trying to pick up that trade, not able to do so. As I say that, Booing goes up top stairs, and now we are in a 3v2. Booing with the bomb up top mid, just trying to play for some information. Now left last alive, as Dan does get found out. And I mean, if you're New York, you're not in worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is you're tied. But now, you're relying on Booing to pick up these 3 kills, and if he can, that's a big momentum swing if you're New York.
And Duck finds the kill onto him to tie the game up at 4-4. We say this all the time, but Squiddy, this one might go the distance to that round 11, that oh so elusive round 11, and I'd love to see it to end this amazing night of Call of Duty. And this one has been a fantastic match from start to finish.
I don't know if my heart can take a round 11 right now. This just this has just been a great Call of Duty match. I mean, you know, if you switch the names around and the colors around, I would think that I'm watching a CDL match right now. These guys are just playing absolutely phenomenal. Crunchy with the first blood. They're at the bottom mid. Dan does get found by Berg. Berg able to pick up that second kill on the Crunchy, leaving New York in a 3v2 situation. But as I say that, Booing able to pick up one kill at the bottom mid, but his teammate able to be picked out towards the bottom mid position. Booing looking to rotate towards the mid position, towards the B bomb, not able to find anything, and now left in a 1v2 retake towards the B bomb as it is planted. Now gonna have to fight this gunfight towards Duck. Elects to rotate back. It's not looking good for Booing.
Yeah, and if I'm Toronto Falters, you may want your players to be holding hands a little bit more, but instead they're somewhat separated here. But they both see Booing on that site. Booing picks up one. Now Duck left in the 1v1 with 16 seconds left. Just make sure you're safe on those sandbags, Booing. Oh, can he get the defuse? He does get the defuse, and the 1v2 clutch out of Booing to win round 9 of the search and destroy to go up 5-4. Can you believe it, Squiddy?
Um, absolutely not. I mean, Booing just the play of a lifetime there. I know that guy Trench gives up his position there. And Booing plays his life perfectly. He cooks the nade, everything. Booing just makes the play of a lifetime. And I mean, New York now with a 5-4 lead, basically off of Booing's round win there. And he does pick up the bomb, and it looks like they're going A, but at the same time, it also looks like they're just trying to get this mid control to go towards B. One player does go bottom mid, just kind of a standoff between him and Crunchy. Is able to pick up the kill on Crunchy. It is Duck, the S&D star essentially of this Toronto team. Even though Berg is 9-5, but you know our man Duck went 9-0 in the first S&D. Booing just kind of hanging out in top mid here, top mid building. You know, let's see what he can do. He does find Reckless. He does spot him. Doesn't elect to shoot at him. Still in this 4v2 position with Dan and Booing. I mean, New York, it's not worst case scenario, but I don't know if you have the kills to carry you into that defensive round for round 11.
Booing just patrolling at the top middle of the map. He might have gotten spotted by V-Beg there. He does get the kill, so this would be a 1v4. He's sitting at 4 health. So if I'm a player from Toronto, you got to just throw a stun at him, but now he's back to 100. He gets the third. This would be a 1v4 for the round loss. Squiddy, he gets the bomb down, and it's Reckless against Booing.
Reckless did spot him, and I think he's going to elect to hit this defuse. But, oh, he's not. I really thought he was going to go to try and stick it. And now it's just kind of a 1v1 standoff. Booing with the clutch. New York SubPar get the 6-4 W reverse sweep.
I cannot believe this, Squiddy. This may be the first 1v4 we've